Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show, and today I'm going to tell you what aged me the most on the 100% raw food diet, and my intention is so you can avoid what I did. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. You will discover the answer to this question in this video. Now, in this last video that I just did, where I compared my meal today versus my meal on a raw food diet 14 years ago, it was much bigger and much smaller. And during this video, I said the avocados started to make my nose run. And we got all sorts of questions from everybody saying, why? What happened? Is avocado bad? Or blah, blah. No, you're going to discover the answer to this right now also. So first, the thing we have to discuss the importance of consistency with diet. Now, everybody has a consistent diet. You eat about the same kinds and quantities of food every single day. For example, I eat my same meal every day. I drink the same amount of liquid. My dad eats the same 3 meals every day, fast food possibly, and stuff like that. And everybody, they eat about the same amount of fat, whether it's trans fatty acids or healthy fat. If you're a raw foodist, you probably eat about the same amount of nut butter and avocado or something like that. Sometimes you overeat, but you usually balance back out to your consistent diet. So everybody has a consistent diet right there. And when you improve your diet, it is key to create a new consistent diet, or it's very likely you're not going to get too far. A lot of people, they try to improve their diet and then they're all over the place. They eat well for a couple days and they eat worse than they've ever eaten before, and it's like this yo-yo back and forth thing. But when you do this right, let's say your standard American diet is your consistent diet right now, and you want to go to a whole foods diet right there. If you do this right and you eat only whole foods and nothing else, no more of this trans fatty acids, refined sugars, processed starches, if you really do this, what happens is your body detoxes all the junk and toxicity from up here. And what happens is, after you get through that hump, which is the most difficult hump of them all, which can take many, many years, because we built up a lot of toxicity, what happens is this becomes your new consistent diet. You've cleaned up you've detoxed all this, and this is your new diet. So here we are. You're on the standard American diet. You improve your diet. You're not veering. You're not going back and forth. So now you go through crazy food issues, detox, until you reach to here. All this detox is gone. All the food issues right here. Okay. So you finally make it past this hump. You did it. What happens next? So what happens is you cleanse every single night. It's a natural process. Every single night you go through dialysis, your body cleanses. And since you've cleansed all this junk out, what happens is you start to cleanse the toxicity in your current diet. Your body tries to push you forward. And what happens is, this is why the avocado made my nose run. It has nothing to do with avocado. It was just the most densest food that I was eating. So here I was on the standard American diet, went on a 100% raw food diet, was eating those huge salads that 30 people could eat with like 5 avocados in it, 4 avocados, and 10 heirloom tomatoes, huge tomatoes, and huge. I was able to eat this without any issue, because it was such an improvement compared to my previous diet. And then for 7 years, I did colon hydrotherapy, and I detoxed, and I finally stabilized out at this new diet. And what happened was, now I started to detox, and what happens is you become cleaner from detox, your body becomes more efficient, and you start to require less food. So now my body was like was saying, okay, you're eating too much avocado, so it was too much toxicity. Avocado's not toxic. I don't want you to get it the wrong way. It's just my body became too clean for 4 avocados. So every morning I would wake up with a runny nose. If I were to eat 2 avocados right now, I'd wake up with a runny nose. Right now I could handle 1 avocado, no problem. But my body's become so clean, this is what happens. So you reach this new level, and your body says, okay, we want you to raise the bar. We're going to give you issues. You might get the runny nose like me, or you might get something else, digestive issues, whatever. And this is if you're not veering. So what I suggest to do at this point, and what I did, is improve the diet. You always want to start eating less as the years go on, and I'm going to explain this in a minute. You don't want to go too far, or you'll go through emotional issues, but you don't want to go too little, or you're going to not feel well. So I went down from like 3 avocados to 2 avocados, and I still had my bulk, and it was fine. And then as the years went by, you become cleaner and cleaner, and you require less food, and that's that. So what aged me on the 100% raw food diet the most? I want to explain one more concept to you, and Luigi Cornaro, this book right here that we have on our website, therawfoodworld.com, along with my books, what happened to this man at 40 years old, he was on the brink of death, and the doctor said there was nothing he could do. They just gave up on him. And he didn't like that because he was totally ill. So what he started to do was every single day, he started to eat 12 ounces of food 12 ounces of food total and a certain amount of liquid. He did a consistent, regulated diet every single day, and he started to get better, and he started to get better, and he lived to be about almost 100 years old. And the doctors were dumbfounded. So what he did was he had a poor diet, he created a new consistent diet way down here, detoxed all that, and he stabilized out at this diet to where he had total enough energy because he became cleaner and his body became more efficient. He detoxed all that junk out. And what happened was, as he got older, like 70 or something, his family got worried about him because they were saying, you need to start eating more as you get older. And he was like, whatever. And just to appease them, he went from 12 ounces of food and added only 4 ounces of the same exact food. Maybe 3 ounces, I don't quite remember, but it's in this book. He did this for 2 days, and he almost died from veering from this diet. Literally, for 3 days, he was in bed, fasting, eating nothing until he healed himself. And so after this, he decided to go from like 12 ounces to like 8 ounces. He just cut his meals even again, and he lived to be like 90 or 100 years old. So the further you take this, the less margin for error there is in messing around with your consistent diet. And let me give you one more example. There was this man who healed from cancer by improving his diet to a high raw diet with only whole foods, cooked whole foods. And he healed from cancer. And then he got married, and his wife got upset that he wasn't eating her food. And so to appease her, he started eating her food. And guess what came back? Yep, the cancer came back. So they agreed to go back to his old diet, thank God, and he healed himself again. And now he's on that consistent diet and doing great. So choosing a diet is like choosing a spouse. You've got to live with it for the rest of your life, or there's going to be consequences. And another example real quick, there are a lot of people that go extreme with colonics and raw food diet for many, many, many years. They've reached this new, they do all this detox and they've reached this new consistent diet, but then after time they can't emotionally handle it anymore. So they go backwards and they gain weight because their body requires less food now from their new stabilized consistent diet. They started here, went here, lost 100 pounds, went here, not even back to there, but back here, and gained more than 100 pounds. It's because they became so clean on a cellular level that the body just doesn't want it, and it just throws it off into fat. This could be another consequence. Okay, so consistency is key. Now, back to why when I aged the most on the 100% raw food diet. Let's reverse. So here I was. I've stabilized out at this new diet where I would eat a reasonable fruit meal in the morning and a huge salad at night every single day, and I'm a strict guy. If someone offers me food, I always say no. I never snack. I don't even drink liquid until my meal I ate is digested, because I want as little digestive discomfort as possible. So here I was every single day. Fruit in the morning, this big salad at night. Raw food restaurants were like a sin to me. I was a little crazy and fanatical, I admit. But a raw food restaurant, I thought raw foodists were crazy. Like, if I were to do something like that, I wouldn't even understand what would happen to me. So for 7, 8 years, just eating the same consistent diet, so my body stabilized out. It was hardcore. It was actually trying to get me to improve my diet from here. And then I had a mentor who told me I was a little fanatical about the whole stuff, all this stuff. And so one day, like I would used to go to raw food restaurants with my friends, and I wouldn't eat. I would just watch them eat. And one day I decided to partake in a raw food restaurant. And my body ate it. I got totally stimulated, and my body just rejected it, like out the rear end. I was fine. I was feeling good, actually. It stops the detox. But that was the first one. And then I did it again because I realized I wasn't going to die in my fanatical nature. And then I did it again and again. And here I was going the other direction. And during this time, then I started to go touring for like 3-4 years on the road, not getting much sleep, for 30 talks in 40 days. It was insane. Eating raw food restaurants like whenever we went, every other day. And when I finished this entire process, I looked in the mirror and I looked back at what I was like before, and I was like, what? Everybody goes through this. You're young, the next day you're old. I'm not saying I'm an old man. I look kind of young here, whatever. But comparatively speaking, it's a very humbling experience. I'm completely over it now, but this was many years ago. And it was actually after our wedding, mine and Angela's wedding, where I had that last meal, and I was just like, that's it. Back to the way I was before. And then I started to go like this, eating less and less and less. So, the thing that we need to be most careful about is when you do a consistent diet, is to stick with it for the rest of your life, or there's consequences. 1, you can gain weight. 2, your degenerative disease can go back. 3, it can age you like crazy. And I know, why would anybody want to do this? Let's talk about the downsides in all this. Why would anybody want to do this? Why would they want to risk this type of thing if they can't handle eating a consistent diet and have an issue? Also, as you become cleaner, things around you become more toxic to you. For example, paint. Like, we painted the door in our outdoor bedroom. I couldn't sleep in there. Diesel car fumes, or just car fumes. It drives me nuts. You just become more sensitive. And it actually, it's more damaging to someone who's on a raw food diet than someone who's not on a raw food diet, these types of toxins. because you're cleaner.